generated $146.5 billion in total within only 2020 and 2021 alone in Florida. Those are the statistics of the money made by the sports industry within Florida. With a number and industry this big, it's hard to walk out your front door without being affected by it. Think of the Friday night traffic or the Sunday lunch rush, maybe even the missing beer on a Saturday afternoon. Of course, all of these have other possible outcomes, but that is what makes sports culture so unique. It has become so common and has blended its way into our daily lives more than we realize. Florida's culture is heavily influenced by the presence of sports in a good and bad way. All of my teenage life has been directly affected by sports. I competed in sports and I'm physically permanently affected by sports. My family has watched football all my life and my friend group revolves around basketball. In this speech, I will explain the good and bad aspects of the presence of sports in Florida. First, Florida benefits from the presence and participation of sports. Quote, Florida's population is projected to reach 23.2 million by April 2025. That's 23.2 million mouths to feed, and within that, people to shelter, cars to funnel, kids to teach, medicine to give, electricity to generate, pets to feed. In a few insufficient words, that's a lot of money, and we need to continuously fuel this economy. As stated above, sports generates lots of the money used to build our economy, and that doesn't account for the money being spent on hotels, food, transportation used by the people coming down here for sports. Of the 23.2 million people who live in Florida, 10 million of them work, and 10% of them are within Florida's sports industry, showing how much the presence of sports helps with the growing economy of Florida. Second point, sports have a massive effect on the younger generation. Nationally, approximately 54% of kids around the age of 6 through the age of 17 participate in organized sports. I wasn't able to locate the data specifically on Florida, but there's likely reason to believe that this trend will likely be consistent through Florida. Sports taught me how to work as a team and push through hard situations, how to deal with loss, and how to mold myself to be in a place of victory. While sports have been very beneficial to the economy and culture of Florida, there are some situations where it is not so great. Like most things, there's a shadow to the light, and we have to weigh the pros and cons. The presence of sports can be harmful in certain situations. Point 1. Kids in the ages of 6 to 17 years old, per thousand of them, 82.9 of them will be injured due to sports. Personally, I've dealt with lots of injuries due to sports, and it has prevented me from possibly performing collegiately. My parents have now limited certain activities for my siblings, and they tend to think twice before allowing my siblings to play in certain sports. Sports can teach so many good things, but at the risk of injury, and even if you plan not to do sports in the future, being injured can affect your career in any profession you decide to go into. With sports being such a gigantic presence in Florida, it can sometimes separate people into fans of certain teams and fans of just sports in general versus people who do not enjoy sports. Within my own friend group, some people do not enjoy to play sports, and they get left out of certain hangouts, and some friends do not even want to watch sports, and they get neglected when it comes to inviting people over to certain events. They can cause separation within close-knitting groups. I witnessed fans of two separate teams brawling each other over something so silly because there's no way they can affect the game themselves. It is the players in the field who are doing everything, and they still find means to argue and fight over the victories and losses. Overall, the presence of sports in Florida is a fantastic and wonderful way of boosting the economy and giving people jobs and younger kids to participate in recreational activities. At the same time, it can produce injuries and divide people away from other things and burn bridges that most things can't do. In the end, naturally, it's just how you look at it and how you were raised. I was raised with sports being a big part of my life, so it's hard for me to say that it does not benefit Florida in most of every way. But other parts of me, dealing with the consistent injuries and long-lasting effects of sports, and that part of me wants to be more cautious when it comes to allowing my own children to play sports. That's what I think is so great about sports, and how unique it is, and how it can bring people together just as much as it can drive people apart. I've started so many conversations and many friendships over sports. I am participating in volleyball currently, and I just received a possibility to start playing club, which could open the doors to many more experiences and friendships.